Hey, what's up, Mr. Skelemystyk? This is a reposting of an earlier video that I did, which was about the top 5 most useful pet jewels in the spiral. It seems I spoke in error in the video, and it was brought to my attention by Val. I want to, just really quick, before we get into the information in the video, I'll tell you what it was. I said Proof Defy whenever I was talking about Baba Yaga and drops, and that is incorrect. Baba Yaga does not drop a Spellproof gem, only a Defy gem. We'll cover that information again in that part of the video and get that clarified. But I just wanted to bring to light what it was I said. I often lump Proof Defy into resist jewels when I'm talking about resist because, well, they really go together like peanut butter and jelly, pretty much. But anyhow, I want to take this moment to do a quick forward to the video and thank Val for being a quality presenter of information. People respect him, and that's an important thing whenever you're doing this. And people respect him because whenever there's an error made, you know, he brings it up with just a little bit of style, you know, with a little bit of dignity. He doesn't rant on his stream about someone being unfair and bullying him and all this drama and all sorts of stuff like that. He simply makes a nice, quiet video, says, hey, this is a mistake, just so you guys know. And he's right. It was a mistake. I did say Proof Defy whenever it's only Defy. So I thought, you know what? Being a responsible YouTuber myself, I'll pull that video. I'll take it down. I'll make sure the information is corrected, and then I'll repost it. I hope that you guys want to watch it again. If you do, that's great. If you don't, you've already seen it, you know. By all means, awesome. But I wanted to make sure that the video, as presented, was correct in its information. All right, guys. So that's it. We'll go ahead now and view the video just like it normally was, except with the corrections. I just wanted to take a moment there to thank Val for bringing this to my attention. One of the things that we as players spend a lot of our time working on is our pets. I mean, let's face it, our pets are immensely helpful to us. They help us to fish. They help us to garden. They give us extra energy. We use them in battles. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't remember what we did before we had such helpful, useful pets. Part of working on our pets is not only manipulating the natural stats that they have, but getting just the right jewel to crown off that perfect pet. In this video, we're going to talk about the top 5 most useful pet jewels in the spiral. What they are, where they are, how to get them, and how they actually help your pet. So let's go ahead now with the number 5 jewel and talk about it. At number 5, and this one might surprise you that it's the number 5 pick rather than, say, the number 1 or number 2 pick. But it's not really surprising once you think about it. At number 5, the number 5 most useful pet jewel in the spiral is the Spell Defy jewel. At +5 resist all. The reason this is the number 5 jewel is, for one reason, Spell Defy is pretty common among pet trainers and among pet talents. A lot of people have Spell Defy on their pets these days, and it's not really that hard to get Spell Defy onto your pet. So, given that you can't add a jewel to any effect if a pet already has a talent, in other words, if you already have Spell Defy on your pet, you can't add a Defy jewel and have it add any extra. Being as that is the case, Spell Defy is at number 5. Among all the among all the talents usually picked, Spell Defy is in there, but it's usually not one of the top ones. I mean, if a person picks 5 talents and they're going for a ward pet or resist pet, they might even leave Spell Defy off entirely. If they're going for a damage pet, of course they're going to leave Spell Defy off entirely, simply because of the fact that it's only +5, and it's not quite as shiny a jewel as compared to, oh, say, a Spellproof jewel at 10%. All right, so Spellproof is, I'm sorry, whoop, that was weird. That just straight glitched out. Anyhow, Spell Defy is at number 5. If you're interested in getting a Spell Defy jewel, you can find it here. This is one of the places where it is possible, mind you, just not likely, for you to get a Spell Defy jewel. I want to make a note now. Thank you very much, Val, for bringing my previous misspeaking error to light. I did lump in Proof Defy here. Well, because I'm kind of used to lumping in Proof Defy on everything. Pets, everything else. But guys, no. You cannot get a Proof Jewel here at this time. No Spellproof. You can get Defy. However, getting Defy from this boss, you have more of a chance of pulling hen's teeth out of her mount. Because it's just not that likely. You're looking at, now mind you, the random number generator is a fickle partner. You may get a Defy Jewel in the first run, maybe even on the 5th run. But on an average, I have seen people run this lots and lots of times. And by that I mean hundreds and even thousands of times as an aggregate altogether. And only a few Defy Jewels come from this source. If I had to put it at a percentage, because there hasn't been any collated data, there hasn't been any scientific, someone's farmed this 1,000 times and only got this many times. There's no official data on that. But I would say just from the word of mouth and hearing around, the actual drop chance on this jewel is less than 1% and probably even under 1/2 of 1%. So you can get a Spell Defy jewel here. It's just honestly very not likely, and there are some better, easier sources to do that. And as well as the low drop rate, another drawback is this is Polaris. This is pretty far up there. So if you're a low-level PvPer who's looking for that gem, well, first you've got to level up, then you've got to get the necessary skills, then you've got to buy the area or have membership to get here, and then you've got to deal with the drop rate. So overall, while you can get a Spell Defy jewel here, not only are the odds not likely, but there's a lot you've got to do to actually get it. You've got to have a high level to get up here. Even if you have a membership and someone teleported you up this way, or teleported you in, I don't even know if you can teleport into this instance, I'm not sure about that one. Even if they teleported you in, Baba Yaga, at her level, can look at a low level. Just look in that direction and kill it. So, you're not going to want to even come up here as a low level, really, and you're therefore not going to get this gem as a low level for doing low level PvP. Alright, let's go ahead now and go on to the next area. If you are really wanting a Defy jewel and for some odd reason your pet has not manifested Defy as a natural talent, the absolute best place, the absolute best chance, sorry guys, it's the truth of the matter, it is pay to win, pay to play, and all those things it is, the absolute best chance of getting yourself a Proof or Defy jewel is in the Star Jewel Blossom plants. It just is. I personally, in about, I would say 6 or 8 harvests of, I had 20 plants there, I do believe, 21 plants. And only about 4 or 5 of those are Star Jewels. In all those harvests, I have received at least 4 Spellproof jewels, a Pain Giver jewel, and one or 2 Defy jewels. So I have received plenty of the most desirable jewels from the Jewel Blossom plants. The drawback is the only place to get Jewel Blossom plants is out of the Farley's Gardening Pack. Continuing in that drawback, the drop rate for those things is terrible. Terrible. You're going to be burning up some crowns unless you get amazingly lucky, hit the lucky lotto win with the random number generator jewel. Unless you do that, you're going to have terrible luck. You might get, what did I get? Let's see, I think for 50,000 crowns I got 4 or 5, and that was good. That was good. I know people who've only gotten 1. I know people who've gotten none. So, play it at your own risk. If you get yourself some blossom plants, these Star Jewel Blossom plants, are the new couch potatoes and evil maglepeas. Whenever couch potatoes and evil maglepeas first came out and pet training became a thing, everybody was dying for couch potatoes and evil maglepeas, and you just couldn't get them. You couldn't find the drop rate was terrible. The places that did drop them weren't very many. Well, that's the same thing with the Jewel Blossom plants here. Okay, the only place that you can get them now is out of those gardening packs. No drops anywhere from any boss. And, well, the drop rate sucks. Let's just call it what it is. So this might be the best place for you to get the jewel once you get the plants, but you got to get the plants. That's the real big drawback. I would say of all the heartache and heartbreak that you have to go through to get these plants, that it's best to just try to get Proof and Defy on your pet as a natural manifesting talent. However, if you want the jewels, this is the best way. Once you get the plants, you're looking at, I would say, a good 5 to 7% of chance that you're going to get a Proof or Defy jewel. Once you get the plants, you're in there like you're in there golden. But before you do, there's hell to pay. You can get your Defy jewel and also your Proof jewel from Mr. Agon Stats here. Every
Today's
end of the week
is to get a reading by visiting this location. Good luck.
Every 5 days you have a chance at a prize here. Day 5, day 10, and day 15. That's all well and good. It is possible to get a Proof or Defy jewel out of this treasure chest day, but I have got to tell you guys honestly, the drop pool for that treasure chest is ginormous. So the actual chance of getting a Proof or Defy jewel as opposed to one of the other, I have to say, quite useless presents out of there is very slim. It's under 1%. So while you can get it here, whew, wow, that's a toughie. It is a toughie. And that's one of the things that makes the Proof and Defy jewels a little bit lower ranked on the most desirable jewels of the spiral than they would be otherwise. That and the fact that a pet can manifest Proof and Defy pretty easily as a natural talent. Okay, let's move on now to the number 4. What? This thing keeps glitching out and like popping. Look, it's weird. Look, weird. There's another glitch. Let's talk about that glitch. The pop around glitch. That's going to be a new one in the spiral there. I don't quite know why it's doing that, but it is. Anyway, on with the number 4 most useful pet jewel in the spiral. I'm going to go to a different site and we'll talk about that one in just a moment. The number 4 most useful pet gem in the spiral. I would have to say that most commonly it will be one of the dealer jewels. Fire dealer, storm dealer, balance dealer, etc. Dealer is a very, very often used pet talent, and a lot of times it will be in your talent pool. The pet will have it as a naturally manifested talent rather than a gem. But just in case you're one of those people who have boon instead of dealer for your 5th talent, you screwed up somehow, or you just couldn't get any of a better pet, or for some reason boon just wanted to stick there like glue and keep manifesting instead of dealer, or maybe you just wanted a full damage pet. Maybe that's what you wanted. Dealer is the jewel for you. Thankfully, any of the school dealer jewels are not really all that hard to get. They are craftable on your jewel crafting table, and you can get the recipe from this fellow. If you want the dealer jewel for any school, you'll come to your boy here, Low Springfield, and he can hook you up. Most of the dealer jewels will take you steel. Some other types of jewels will take you brass, but I do believe that dealers are steel as far as materials go, and they'll take you a snack that you can very easily get over in Wisteria from the pet snack vendor, no problem, for gold, and they're not that hard to craft. The worst part about getting yourself a dealer jewel is having enough steel, because, well, you can get a critical or a accuracy or any other type of jewel because it's lumped into a group. Let me show you what I mean here, just in case you don't happen to know. You see, it's a jewel of fire, which means it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to give you a fire dealer. It can give you a fire accuracy. It can give you a fire critical. It can give you a fire ward. So you may have to run through quite a bit of steel if you're having bad luck with a random number generator to get yourself a fire dealer. Again, I use fire in this case as the jewel. Any type of dealer jewel, it may take you quite a bit of steel, and that is the drawback. And that's why it's at number 4, as well as the fact that, like I said, a lot of times the dealer talents that you're looking for will manifest naturally. Let's go ahead now and move ourselves on up to the number 3 most desired pet jewel in the spiral. The number 3 most desired pet jewel in the spiral is dun 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 Pain Giver. Pain Giver is the number 3 most desired pet jewel in the spiral because because it is a universal damage, which means you can apply it to any pet, which means that if you have a pet that has, say, Spellproof and Pain Giver, you can use that pet to mix with any of your other pets if you're looking for a school-specific based set of talents, because those are universal and they will apply to any school. Pain Giver is not too hard to come by if you have, well, here we go with the pay-to-play thing. Have it, even though it's one of those talents that does manifest naturally and does manifest a lot of times. Again, it's going to depend on what type of pet you're building. If you're building a full damage pet, or you have a pet that's just contrary about manifesting that particular talent, and you need a jewel, there you go, you can get it. It's not one of the easiest jewels to come by, but it is one of the most desired. It is the number 3 most desired pet jewel in the spiral. At number 2, we're going to, well, you know what, we're going to go to a different area, because I kind of like going to different areas to talk about these different jewels. At number 2, the most desired pet jewel in the spiral. This one might surprise you, because the actual spell is one of the most desired pet talents to have. That is Spellproof. Spellproof is the number 2 most desired pet jewel in the spiral. Now, I'm sure you're curious about what number 1 is by this point, but we'll get to that in a minute. Number 2, Spellproof. A lot of people want Spellproof. That's almost an industry. It's almost a pet standard for talents that people want. Almost. Unless you're going for a quintuple damage pet, and even then, maybe you want to put a Spellproof jewel on the end of a quintuple damage. Just have that little extra bit of resist. Every little bit counts. And, you want a Spellproof jewel. All right, the Spellproof jewel will come from all of the same sources. Sorry, hang on for a minute. I heard somebody knocking at my door. Nope. Okay. The Spellproof jewel will come from all the same sources that the Defy jewel came from that I showed you earlier. All those same sources, and you really do, if you can get them, want to lay your hands on some of those Star Jewel Blossom plants. If it's at all possible, get some of those, cultivate those. The Jewel Blossom plants are really the new couch potatoes and evil magma peas so far as building up better pets goes. At the beginning of all this, everybody wanted couch potatoes and evil magma peas to train their pets up in the first place. These days, a lot of people have those couch potatoes and they have those evil magma peas, so they have, so they have no problem with snacks. These days, it's those extra jewels whenever, for some odd reason, your pet just wants to be a contrary little hairball and not give you the talents that you want. And you have to pop an extra gem in there just to fix things up. All right, Spellproof, the number 2 most desired pet jewel in the spiral. Let's go now to number 1. I think you'll find this surprising, and some of you won't agree with me, I'm sure. I mean, that's just the nature of the thing. But this was my top pick, and I'll tell you why whenever we get there. All right, folks, here it is. I'm going to tell you what the number 1 most desirable pet jewel in the spiral is right now. I kind of predicted in about 30 seconds I'm going to hear a bunch of grunts, groans. Oh, I turned around. Wow. There we go. I got turned around by a spell. I predicted in about 30 seconds I'm going to hear a bunch of grunts, groans, grumbles, and other noises of disagreement. But, guys, I've got a point to this. I've got a reason for saying this. The number 1 most desirable jewel in the spiral is going to be one of the top-rated selfish gems. Be it mighty, be it powerful, be it perceptive, any of those. Now, I know you're like, no, that's a bunch of crap, man. What are you trying to feed me here? Well, let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, just happen to have Lady Shadow, who is a max stat pet. Now, even at max stats, she would have had 6%, 10%, 5%, 10%, and 6%. But that mighty jewel I put in there, which boosted her strength by 60 and gave her this 320 strength. I thought it was a 65. No, it's 60. Anyway, no, it is. Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's 60 or 65. I don't remember which one it is. Point to the whole thing being, it gave me an extra additional point in every one of my stats. So I picked up an extra 3% damage. I picked up an extra couple of percent in resist. If you're doing PvP, if you're out there battling the big bosses solo, every percentage point counts. Now I could have added a boon jewel, but I mean, boon wouldn't equal +5 more. You know, I could have added, well, any number of things. Now, one of the drawbacks to the selfish jewels is that, yes, they will raise the stats of your pet. And yes, raising those stats will in turn raise the percentage of talents. That is absolutely the truth. However, it has been my experience that a pet that has its stats raised through a selfish jewel will not, guys, will not, despite what some other YouTubers and parties will tell you, it will not transfer those higher stats to another pet. I've done this just lately extensively with a max stat fire pet that I've been working on. The parent pet has a jewel on it that gives it 272 intellect, but its natural intellect was 247. It always and only transfers a maximum of 247 intellect to that baby pet. At no time has it ever boosted stats unnaturally and then passed them on to a baby. It does not do that. I just wanted to make that clear while we're talking about selfish jewels, because they are good, but they are not the miracle of the spiral. They're not. Alright, let's move on. You can get the recipe for all these selfish jewels from Low Springfield the same way. I believe it's the rank 4 pet stats recipe. Let me go ahead and get up there and check it for you real quick. Oops, I wanted to go crafting. Oopsie. Yeah, there it is. The rank 4 pet stats jewel. This will give you the mighty or the powerful or the perceptive or what have you. It'll give you a chance at one of those jewels. I think there's a drop pool of about 10 different jewels that you can get. But luckily it takes titanium, which isn't nearly so hard to come by as steel. It takes an opal and it takes heavenly bubblegum, which you can get from the snack vendor in Wisteria. And you can add this selfish jewel and boost up quite well. Alright guys, there you have it. Let's go ahead now and I feel for me, the mighty jewel with its big selfish boost was the best bet. Guys, there you have it. That is the top 5 most useful pet jewels in the spiral. By all means, if you disagree with my selection here, go ahead and comment, because, well, I know you're going to anyway. You really are. That's the nature of the thing, by all means. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and a good hard smash, as well as subscribe, share, and yell my name to the heavens, because I would love to see more of you around here. Until next time, this is Skelemystyk reminding you that whatever else you do, always love the game. Peace! Hey, what's up, gamer? Skelemystyk. A lot of you have played this game for a long time, and you know quite a lot about it. But did you know there are a number of secret things going on behind the scenes that you may not know about? In this video, we're going to talk about some very interesting... Wow, horses run through you. We're going to talk about some very interesting secret...